I know what you're thinking, another video on Creed Aventus, but let me explain kind of why I'm going to be doing this video. And just to start this off and preface this is going to be another one of those videos where I just kind of sit here and more or less talk to you guys. It's not going to be a fully structured out video like my reviews and my lists are. It's just kind of going to be me talking about Aventus a little bit more. Again, I know a lot of you are probably going to be like, you know, this is stupid, another Creed Aventus video. I'm going to get into why there's another Creed Aventus video right now. So you got to realize that as a fragrance reviewer, I get a lot of questions, whether it be someone commenting below on these YouTube videos, whether it be someone, you know, DMing me on Instagram, commenting on my posts on Instagram, commenting on my posts on Facebook, messaging me on my Facebook page, people even reaching out to me on my main personal Facebook page, messaging me. I get questions all the time about fragrances. And would it surprise you if I told you that the most common question I get is involving Aventus? Probably not. I get a ton of questions about Aventus, and that's part of the reason why I did that video not too long ago, basically talking about Aventus in 2019 going into 2020, if it's still worth picking up. Just because, again, a lot of people ask about this fragrance because it gets so much hype, because so many people talk about it. There's a whole Facebook group dedicated to this fragrance. There's just so much information and so much talk about Aventus going on that people who maybe are somewhat new into the community, you know, they want to know what's up. You know, people are always asking me if it's worth the money, where they should buy it, and just, you know, if it's a good compliment getter. And I just get a ton of questions on Aventus. And I do think a good part of that comes from people kind of wanting an excuse not to buy it. So if I tell them like, hey, this isn't really worth purchasing anymore, they'll probably just be like, oh, okay, good, I don't need to buy it, because they might be pressured to get it because of all the hype and they don't want to spend the money, which I totally get. I was the same way. I was looking for every reason not to purchase a bottle back before I didn't have any bottles of it, just because it was so expensive. So I'm going to do this video for those of you who may want a reason not to purchase this. And again, just to kind of tell you here, I love the scent. I love Creed Aventus. So before like all the hardcore, like super hardcore Aventus people come at me because I'm saying 5 things I hate or 7 things I hate about Creed Aventus, I don't hate Aventus itself. I own 5 or 6 bottles of it. I wear it quite often, so I don't hate Aventus. I'm not an Aventus hater, but I can pick out some things I don't like about Aventus and about like the whole Aventus culture, so I wouldn't really consider myself necessarily a fanboy of it either. I was probably a while back, kind of when I was first getting into it, but I wouldn't say I am as much now. There are a ton of like positive reviews on Aventus and, you know, videos talking about a lot of the strengths and good things about Aventus. There's a ton of videos out there on that. But what I wanted to do was put something out there that was the opposite, something to kind of give you something to think about if you are watching a lot of reviews and you're hearing, you know, pro after pro after pro. I'm going to try to give you some cons here, because I feel like that's important when it comes to making a buying decision, really with anything. If you're buying a car, if you're buying a watch, if you're buying whatever, there's going to be pros to that item, but there's also going to be cons as well that you have to be aware of. And, you know, in a lot of reviews of Aventus, you know, you may not necessarily focus on the cons, especially if you really like the scent. So I want to give that to you guys, just some cons to think about, some things that I hate about Aventus. That way it can kind of help your buying decision. So I'm going to try to approach this video unbiased and just kind of give you my honest thoughts here. I'm not sugarcoating anything. I'm not trying to sway you in one direction or the other. I'm just telling you 7 things I personally hate about Aventus and about all of the Aventus talk. So again, hopefully this will help some of you out if you're looking for a reason to say, you know what, nope, I'm not going to buy a bottle, so that way you can save yourself a couple $100. First things first, let me know down below in the comments things you hate about this scent, whether you completely hate the scent altogether and, you know, you're saying that this video sucks and that I suck. Leave that down below. Or if you actually like Aventus but there's some things that you would change about it, let me know as well. Second thing is, make sure you subscribe and turn on post notifications if you're new here to the channel. That way all these new videos show up directly to your phone and directly to your YouTube app so you can watch them and not miss out on them. I try to reply to all of your comments as soon as I can. It's easier for me to reply to comments within the first like half hour. So if you have any Aventus specific questions, leave them on this video. I'll try to get back to them as soon as I can, but the sooner the better with comments. Okay, finally, let's go and get into this video. And again, this might run kind of long, it may not. Hopefully, if you don't like Aventus and you don't care about this video, you turned it off by now, because yeah, it's going to be Aventus all the way through. So I don't want to hear your hate comments, because I told you that in the very beginning. All right, let's go and get into this. So the first thing I hate about Aventus is the fact that it causes very bad olfactory fatigue for me personally. And I'm not the only one with this. A lot of people experience this, but essentially olfactory fatigue is when your nose starts to tune out a fragrance or a smell so that you can't smell it anymore. That's one of the main reasons why you hear people say that fragrances like this have bad performance, when in fact they're very strong. It's because your nose has tuned it out so that you can't smell it anymore. It's just something that your body does when you're getting overloaded. Your senses are getting overloaded with the smell. It basically tries to dial that back so it's not annoying you. I wish there's a way you could turn that off, because I don't want to turn that off. I don't want to not be able to smell it. I want to be able to smell it. I bought this for a reason. It's to smell it, and it's very frustrating and very annoying when you do go nose blind or anosmic or get olfactory fatigue from the scent. And this isn't the only fragrance that does it. A lot of fragrances out there do it. Typically for me, a lot of ambroxan or ambergris heavy fragrances do it, and also a lot of fragrances with a lot of aroma chemicals and like certain types of musks can cause olfactory fatigue as well. I'm not a perfumer by any means, so I don't know really the specifics, but there are certain notes and certain aroma chemicals and compounds that do cause olfactory fatigue. And I'm not sure completely what it is about Aventus that causes it. I'm assuming it is from a lot of the musks, a lot of the like ambergris type of feel that's in here. I don't know for sure. It could be completely wrong, but I'm assuming that's where it's coming from. And yeah, I get olfactory fatigue really bad from the scent, and it's very annoying. That sucks. It really sucks not being able to smell your fragrance, especially a fragrance that you really, really love. So I'll kind of try to give you a quick tip here on how to avoid olfactory fatigue or getting olfactory fatigue from your fragrances. Again, this type of trick will work with any fragrance that you get olfactory fatigue from. But basically, when you're spraying Aventus, try to avoid spraying like the front of your body. So if you spray like your chest or like right here on your neck, you're going to get olfactory fatigue really quick. You're going to burn your nose out really quick, because that fragrance is just rising right up. It's right under your nose, so it's always coming up, and your nose is going to tune it out really quickly. So what you want to do is typically spray the back of your neck, maybe spray your arms. Basically, you want to try to avoid applying the fragrance, where it's going to come in constant contact with your nose. So typically spraying the back of your head, the back of your neck works really well, just in places like that. If you are going to spray like your chest, maybe do it just down a little bit lower and do it underneath your shirt rather than on top of your shirt. Underneath the shirt's a great way to do it, just because it kind of contains it a little bit. And yeah, if you're going to spray your neck, maybe stick to the sides, more so towards the back than the front. You basically just want to avoid spraying in this area. And that'll somewhat help mitigate the whole anosmia, olfactory fatigue thing by just keeping it away from your nose. That does tend to help a little bit. Also, taking breaks from this scent. If you wear it every day, I've found that your nose will start to tune it out more for whatever reason, but I've taken time off from the scent before, and that does seem to help sometimes with getting olfactory fatigue from it. So that's the first thing that I hate about Aventus. The second thing I hate about Aventus is all of the colognes. So it's kind of like the whole blue fragrance wave right now. Every single brand is coming out with some sort of iteration of the blue ambroxan citrus fragrance, and along with that, every single brand is coming out with their version or kind of a nod to Aventus. A lot of brands have done it, from like niche indie fragrance brands to straight up designer brands. There's a lot of them out there that are making colognes of this scent, and it's just kind of one of those things where you're probably getting tired of seeing all these blue fragrances being released, and you're probably being tired of seeing all of the Aventus colognes come out. The other issue I have with this is the fact that it makes it really hard to choose which fragrance to buy. If you're looking for an Aventus cologne, you have a ton to choose from. There's going to be tons of different reviews out there. Some reviews are good, some reviews are not good, and I'm not talking about like good as in like a good review. I'm talking about the person's view on the scent. Like, is it a good review as in it's a positive thumbs up review or a negative review? You know, there's going to be so many different factors to choose if you're looking for some sort of clone of Aventus. So that makes it really hard for the buyer to decide what they want to buy, especially with some of these clones getting up into, you know, the $100 price point and beyond. It makes it pretty tricky. So at this point, I think it is pretty well overdone. I mean, it probably reached that point a long time ago, but especially now, there's just so many clones of the scent. I mean, I get why from a business standpoint, because this fragrance works, this DNA works, it sells. But from a consumer standpoint, it is annoying, it is frustrating, and it makes it difficult if you're trying to purchase one. I could talk about clones all day long, but I did cover that in my video talking about if this scent is worth it. So if you want to hear a little bit more about that, go check that video out. If I remember, I'll link it somewhere up here. So the next thing I hate about Aventus is how many fakes are out there of this scent and how many people have gotten scammed because of it. So, you know, one thing that is pretty common, you'll see these bottles on Wish, you'll see these bottles on AliExpress, you'll see these bottles on all those other Chinese websites, and they're all 100% fake. Just don't even waste your time with them unless you're trying to get a fake just to check one out and see what it smells like or what it looks like. They're all 100% fake. If you see Aventus at a deal that's too good to be true, it's just that. It's too good to be true. Anything under like, I mean, of course, depending on the bottle and depending on how full it is, but if you have a 100 ml bottle that's brand new, any price under like $200, it's probably going to be fake. Again, that's a very general thing. If you see a bottle for like $100 brand new, yeah, I would pass on that. Probably going to be fake. Either that or the person has no idea what they have, but generally 9 times out of 10, that's going to be fake. Even cheaper than that, you know, $50, $20, it's going to be fake. So don't buy those. And it may sound obvious to those of you who know the scent and basically know fragrances in general that those are fake, but there are a lot of people who don't. There are a lot of people who fall for that and they buy them and they get scammed. And I'm sure in a lot of cases they have no idea. They don't even realize that they have a fake. And the thing that upsets me the most about, you know, all these fakes and stuff is if someone buys one and they find out about it, chances are their whole, you know, thoughts and their whole perception on Creed and on niche fragrances is going to be ruined because they got scammed that one time. And chances are after that, they're probably going to be done. They're going to, you know, think less of Creed just because they got scammed. Of course, it wasn't Creed's fault, but just kind of one of those things where you get super excited for something, you find out you got a fake, and then it just kind of ruins the whole experience for you. That's kind of what happens here. That person is probably never going to try Aventus again. They're probably never going to pick up an actual bottle. It just kind of ruins the experience for them. So that's really kind of why it upsets me so much. And of course, because these suppliers are also making money off of selling something that is 100% fake, that's, you know, really shady as well, and that really sucks. So yeah, tons of fakes out there. This is the most faked Creed fragrance by far. It may even be one of the most faked fragrances in general. I mean, I can't really think of too many more that are getting faked. I mean, Dior Sauvage, there are fakes out there. I'm sure there's fakes of a lot of other popular scents as well, but this one, main reason why this one is fake so much and why people fall for it so much is because an actual bottle of this is going to be running you a couple $100 or like over $400 at retail. So yeah, it does make sense why, you know, a lot of companies are creating fakes and they're selling so many. The fourth thing I hate about Creed Aventus is all of the batch hype, and really more specifically, I'm talking about like the batch frenzy, people who completely lose their head over it. So I'm not like saying that anyone who is into batch variations of Aventus is, you know, wrong for liking that. You can like whatever you like. I'm into batch variations. I have multiple different bottles, mainly to experience different batches. I mean, a lot of the reasons just for backups at this point, because I go through the scent. I've used about half of this. I got like 60 ml left of this bottle. I go through a lot of the scent. So, you know, a lot of it is backups, but also just to experience different batches, because yes, there are differences in batches. Where it starts to get annoying is when you see people losing their heads over it. You see people kind of doing like shady stuff behind the scenes to kind of one-up each other in terms of price. Like if someone posts a bottle, they're going to come in from behind and try to, outbid someone in the mess. It's just kind of one of those things where a lot of shady stuff tends to go on because people want these certain specific batches so bad. People are willing to spend a crap ton of money on these specific batches, and they hunt them down and track them down on eBay. And if you post a picture of your bottle and the batch in a group, everyone's going to be asking in the comments if you'll sell it, or in the direct message if you're going to sell it, and if you'd swap for this batch and that batch. It's just a lot of craziness. And again, I'm not bashing on batch variations, because I do follow that. There are batch variations. I know that because I've tried multiple different batches. But what I'm saying is, what I hate about it is when people just go completely crazy over it. It's just a little bit too much for me. It was kind of fun when I was first getting into it, but then I realized that, okay, there are differences in certain batches, but it's nothing to lose your head over. At the end of the day, Aventus is still Aventus, and yeah, it's really no need to completely go crazy over. So that's something that, I don't really like that much about Aventus at this point, and I just kind of, don't pay too much attention to it. The fifth thing I hate about Creed Aventus is the fact that it is such a polarizing scent. And I'm not talking about in terms of getting compliments and reactions like, oh, some people like it, some people hate it. I'm talking about if you say you like this fragrance in a video, you're probably going to have people hating on you and saying that this fragrance sucks and that you shouldn't like it because it's overpriced and doesn't last and this and that. And if you hate this fragrance and you say that in the video, more likely than not, you're going to have people saying that, you're wrong and that this fragrance is awesome and that has the best performance ever and it gets the best compliments and that you should love this scent. Basically, what I'm saying here is no matter what you say about this scent, no matter what your opinion is, you're going to have people coming at you. So that's just something that gets kind of old. I can aimlessly feature this fragrance in like a top 10 list, and then the whole comment section will be talking about why this fragrance sucks and why it's the best, even though I featured 9 other fragrances in that video. It's just something that happens. That just kind of is the nature of Aventus and of, the fragrance community and how they feel about it. Again, I know this fragrance is talked about a lot. I've made videos on it. Literally, probably every other reviewer has made videos on it. But again, at the end of the day, it's a fragrance that works. It's a fragrance that people are interested in. That's why I do these videos. It's because people ask me about this fragrance all the time. So I want to help you guys by putting out a video. So yeah, very polarizing scent in the community. No matter what your opinions are about this fragrance, people are going to have something to say about it. And it's not the end of the world, but it is something that just gets old. And it's like, why do you have to act that way over a fragrance? I just don't really get it. The sixth thing I hate about this fragrance, and this is probably going to be at the top of a lot of your guys' list, and I guess I should mention that this isn't in an order, so it's not like 1 to 7 here, it's just however order I put them in. But probably your number one thing you hate about Aventus is the price, and that's what I'm talking about now. Yeah, I don't like the price of Aventus, believe it or not. I don't like it. At retail, I hate it. At retail, it is not worth purchasing at all. In my personal opinion, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't recommend you to do it either. Of course, there's going to be people saying that, only buy retail or else you're going to get a fake. That's simply not true. That's just not the truth. You can think that if you want. If you have, a couple $100 extra bucks burning a hole in your pocket and you want to buy at retail, go for it. But there are other ways to get the scent without, breaking the bank that much, and you can still get a 100% legit bottle. I did a whole video on how to spot a fake Creed fragrance. That video is like one of my most viewed videos, I think, and I did that a while back. So again, that's something you can search my channel, search on YouTube. Maybe I'll link it up if I remember it. But yeah, I did a full video on that. It's kind of a long video because I cover a lot of stuff on how to spot a fake. If you watch that, you're going to have a pretty good idea on how to tell if one is real, if one is fake. As long as you get the proper pictures from the seller, you should be able to tell. But yeah, the price of retail, I don't like it. And also, I don't like the price of these, super inflated, like sought after batches. So you'll see certain 2016 bottles going for like over $300, $350 or something like that for a 120 ml bottle. That's not even all the way full because it's, a good batch. It's a grail batch. And again, like I've said, there are batch variations. I'm somewhat into that sort of thing. I got different batches, but I wouldn't pay that amount for, a certain sought after batch when you can get the same thing, when you can get like a new bottle for like around $220. Again, for me, that's just not something I would do. All of my different batches I purchased at around the same price, at around the $200 to $220 mark for the 120 ml bottle. The 75 ml bottle I paid a little bit less, obviously, and I have a 50 ml bottle which I paid even less. So I didn't pay any sort of inflated prices for any of those bottles or any of those batches. All of them I just paid at around the regular Aventus price because I wasn't willing to pay extra just because, you know, certain people said that this batch is better than all of the others. So yeah, I hate the retail price. I hate the inflated batch variation prices. For the most part, I'm okay now with the regular going rate, which is around $200 to $220. Again, that is still expensive. It's very expensive for a fragrance, but that's pretty much about as good as it's going to get, and it definitely beats paying the retail price. And finally, the seventh thing I hate about Aventus is its popularity. So this is mostly its popularity in the fragrance community because it is everywhere. And again, you're probably thinking, well, you're not making this whole popularity thing even better by making videos on it, and you're right. But at the same time, there's nothing you can do about it at this point. I mean, this fragrance has been out for almost 10 years. And it's been talked about so much, so many videos have been made, so many posts have been made that it's not going anywhere. So me making another video isn't hyping this fragrance up anymore at this point because it's already reached full, like, maximum hype. It's at full level of people talking about it and going crazy over it. So at this point, I don't think I'm making that situation any worse because it just, there's so much out there already that it's not going back from here. But I do really don't like its popularity. I wish I had this fragrance all to myself, and I'm sure a lot of you out there who like the scent feel the same way. It's something where, oh, you know, I like it so much, I want it to be my little secret. That's not the case, and that's never going to be the case with Aventus. It's just beyond that point by a long shot. What is cool about this scent is that outside of the fragrance community, you're probably going to be about the only person in your area wearing it. So that's cool. That's something where you're going to be wearing something unique. That's why I get so many good reactions from people, because they've never smelled it before. But in the fragrance community, it is popular. And yeah, there's not really much you can do about it. So guys, I think that pretty much sums up this video. That is 7 things I hate about Creed Aventus. Again, you know, I'm not doing this video to try to ride on the Aventus like hype train, or just, I'm not doing this video to try to chase after views because, you know, if you put Aventus in the title, you get views. That's not the case. When I post these videos, I get a lot of negative comments, and it's just not worth it to me. You know, the views and all the people getting mad about it, it's not worth it for me. I do these videos to legitimately help you guys out because, again, the #1 question I'm getting asked everywhere on every social media and every messenger inbox and comment is about Creed Aventus. So I put these videos out to help you guys, to help you make a purchase, to help you, in this case, potentially not make a purchase. I'm just trying to help you guys out as much as I can. So hopefully this helps some of you out. If you were kind of looking for a reason maybe not to purchase this, maybe this video will be for you. And again, I'm not saying that you should or should not purchase this. That's going to be up to you. That's going to be up to if you sample it and you like it or you don't like it and you want to buy a bottle. But, you know, there is a lot of positive, you know, feedback out there on Aventus. So I kind of wanted to put out there something a little bit different, you know, something that's maybe negative about Aventus to highlight some of those points. So that'll give you something else to think about as well, because there's, just like with anything, there's a lot of pros, but there can be a lot of cons as well. So guys, again, let me know down below in the comments what you think about Aventus, what you hate about it, and that's going to do it for me. So as always, thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe, give the video a like, turn on the post notifications. All that helps me out, helps out the channel. And that's going to do it, guys. Thank you for watching. Have a great rest of your night. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.